Hi, I'd like us to look at four of humanity's biggest fears and why they stand in our way to experiencing love, inner calm, peace, and security. And at the end, I will share with you what you can do to remove those fears. The first one I'm going to talk about has its roots long, long time ago when we were hunter gatherers and lived in tight knit communities. The fear of being ostracized, the fear of being cast out from the tribe, because in those days it meant certain death, being alone. So that has imprinted itself so deeply into our brains. We wired from that since we're little babies that our connection with our primary caregivers is so important. Otherwise, we would die. To be looked after, to be cared for in the best way possible. And sometimes, quite often, that is in conflict with our authenticity, our needs to be ourselves, to be authentic. But often, as babies or young children, we start to realize that we have a better possibility of being cared for, looked after, if we adapt, if we behave in certain ways that our primary caregivers favor. Some so much that they have to completely suppress natural feelings of anger, of frustration, to be nice, saying yes, being people pleasers. And of course, that carries on in adult life. We have a fear of being completely authentic because there is a fear deep down that if we are being rejected, we will die. We're programmed like that. Even though today is completely different, if we don't get along with the tribe where we were born into or raised in that type of society, we can find our tribe elsewhere. We can connect over the internet with people from all over the world, from all walks of life. But our brains, that old part of our brain, does not recognize that. It gets terrified. So try to mold and adjust to be safe, to be included. It is scared to be seen for what it really is. A lot of people are even so scared that they won't even look and try to discover who you are underneath. The second fear is the fear of the unknown and to be out of control. We have this idea that we need to be in control in order to feel safe, secure, and happy. And we try to monitor and we try to control people around us, our environments, in order to feel safe. And we also want to know what's going to happen, because then we feel safer. But it's like a false safety, because often for a lot of people that feeling of familiarity is actually toxic. Because if you've been brought up in a toxic environment with toxic people, maybe like a narcissistic parent or a friend that has been mean to you, bullies, that has become your normal. That has become something that you're familiar with. So your brain is looking for situations, environments, relationships that are similar to that so that you feel familiar. Well, that is bizarre, but it's like that. And it also hinders us from being open to new ways of being, of thinking, new relationships, opportunities. It's so easy to get stuck in old ways of thinking, in old ways of being and acting and reacting, in all our old patterns, programming, because we feel safe there. We feel that we know that. We're scared of the unknown, of not knowing. The third fear that we have is the fear of death, of dying, of That is also linked, of course, to the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe just the end. Are we going to heaven? Are we going to hell? Are we going into some other dimension, reincarnation? It's a mystery. And that, of course, is scary. But it's not just about dying in itself. We have this false identification, our ego. That is this idea of who we are. Has got nothing to do with our real essence. It is this construct, identification with where we've been brought up, who our parents were, what school we've been to, what we're good at, what we're bad at, our preferences, what other people have told us about ourselves, religion, and so on and so forth. They might be completely different from your basic personality and also your essence. And that is what we call ego. And the ego is based in fear. It is based in a chatter, a constant judging, criticizing, blaming, labeling. It resides in the future, in the past. It's scared of being present. It's always on the hunt for something. It wants something, attracts something, someone, or repel something or someone, longing for the good old days or having painful memories about horrible times. It wants a better future, that dreams about that, or is scared of a dark, painful future. And the ego, because it's not real, and you know that somehow, it's scared of dissolving and disappearing. Because when you're fully present, when you meditate, you practice mindfulness, you are present, the ego is not really there. And then it tends to become louder and more sneaky in its ways to not be to not be in danger. And that's why often people that start to meditate a lot and they become present, they slip into these spiritual egos, because the ego will go there because it can hide there easier. And the fourth fear that's very common is the fear of suffering, of pain. We've been brought up thinking that we always could strive towards happiness, be happy, be healthy, feel good, and we chase these dopamine highs, these adrenaline kicks, and these ego boosters. But it only gives us a very superficial and short-lived so-called happiness, feeling of euphoria, of feeling good, excited, passionate. And we get hooked on that. But it's like a roller coaster ride. And it's like a drug. We get high and then boom, we feel worse afterwards. And here's the dilemma. Because the more we try to escape feeling bad, the worse we feel. Because the more resistance you have to what is and to who you are, and the more you resist that, the greater the suffering becomes. You need to feel that pain when it arrives. So, when you're present in the moment and you feel an emotion come, don't just try to distract yourself. Don't just numb it with alcohols, with pills. Feel it wholeheartedly. And then it washes over you and it disappears. And the pain is only pain in that moment. You feel it and then it's gone. But what we do, the more we try to distract ourselves, push it down, try to hide it, we numb it, pretend that it's not there, then it turns into suffering. And it gets harder and thicker with time, and we keep putting more on and more and more, and we get this really heavy emotional baggage, like this thick armor of things that we hold in our bodies, in our energy fields, in our subconscious mind for decades. So our trying to run from the pain is what causes most of our suffering. So how do we fix these four problems? It's a very simple solution. Be present. Here and now. Practice mindfulness, practice meditation. And no, meditation and mindfulness doesn't mean that you always have to sit still. You can walk, you can dance, you can do yoga, tai chi, floating. There's so many different types of meditation, mindfulness in movement as well. So don't try to trick yourself saying, no, but I can't sit still, I get more frustrated. Forget about sitting still then. It's about being present here and now in this very moment. It is about daring to feel that which is. Honestly, look at yourself. How do I feel? What am I like right now? Without the commentator, without going up to your mind, trying to analyze the situation, trying to create a story about it, trying to say, let's run away, let's go there, let's do that. Shh, stop. Don't care about your thoughts. You know what? It doesn't even matter if your thoughts continue to chatter. Doesn't even matter if you have so-called negative thoughts. If you don't give them your energy, your attention, if you don't identify with them, they hold no power over you whatsoever. So practice being present, open, do not engage with your thoughts. Dare to feel. Feel the sensations in your body. Feel the emotions. Just be open to it. Open like a child. Whatever presents itself, it is a teacher. It holds a message for you. Your key to freedom, to happiness, to love is through the pain. Sometimes when you're completely open to feeling the pain, it can turn into the most wow experience of unconditional love. It can have the same power as if you've been sitting in meditation for hours and hours, for years, until you have this spiritual experience. Because when you remove the resistance, when you're present, when you're open like a child, you experience life, yourself, as it is, as you are. And you, my friend, the good news is that the deeper you dive, it's not going to get darker and worse and more painful and horrible. The deeper you go into your essence, it's love, light. You know what? Every single religion in the world, both current and in the past, and New Age teachings, they all have that in common. Love. It's because that's our foundation. Love. When everything else is removed. When there's no one to be, nothing to do, and nowhere to go. When you just stop and you just are. You're a human being, not a human doing or thinking. We tend to forget that. We're always on the run, thinking, doing, being busy, not being present. More so now than ever, with all this technology, with all this social media and news, everything asking for our attention all the time, is so addicted to get drawn into here, to there, everywhere. But the most important advice I can give you to be happy, peaceful and free, to know yourself, is to practice being present, fully present, and be brave. Dare to feel. Dare to look at parts of yourself that you're not proud of. Dare to look at these uncomfortable things. A lot of people that are spiritual, religious, keep focusing always on the higher energies and high, always feeling just love and happy and peaceful. And it becomes like a spiritual bypass. You cut off the lower parts, the lower chakras, your shadow sides. Those things that you don't want others to see, that you feel bad about, embarrassed about. Look at those as well. Acknowledge them. Accept those parts of you. Ground yourself. Embrace all parts of you. I mean, look at the world, the natural world. It's not just light. It's not just summer. We have always the contrast. There's night, there's day, there's winter, there's summer. Hot, cold, inside of us as well. You cannot only focus on the light to be whole and balanced. You need to embrace your darker sides as well. You need to embrace and feel the pain. There is your salvation. There is your key to the door into your heart, into the real, pure, unconditional love, to yourself, to the essence of life itself. So don't just think it's some little useless thing that you're doing when you've done everything else. And if you have a little moment, maybe I'll just do a little quick mindfulness exercise, little meditation. That should be your priority. And no, as I said, you don't need to sit still. You can do it in movement as well. And mindfulness, you can do that throughout the day. For instance, pick 3 things that you do every day or that you see every day. It could be every time that you hold a pair of keys, or every time that you open a door, or drink a glass of water. Pick 3 things. That is your cue to be present. You just sort of, okay, now I just land here and now. And how do you land in the present moment? There's 3 ways. Well, there is more, but those 3 are the main ones. Through your breathing, just becoming aware of your breathing. You no need to change anything, just become aware of your breathing. That helps you to be present. Becoming aware of your senses. That's also indicators of the now. And the sensations in your body. They happen now. And all of these, they will bring you into the present moment. Important. Don't only listen to guided meditations. Important to sometimes just stop and be in silence with yourself. Start to get to know who you are. Get to know your body as well. Your body holds so much wisdom, but most of us, we cut off because trauma is mainly stored in our bodies. And we can start to awaken our body again, to listen to it. Include our bodies in our everyday life consciously, and not just when we do physical exercise, but to feel in to our bodies. What do they want to tell us? They know what they want to eat and when they need to rest and when they need fresh air. But more so than that, they know where things are stored. Old trauma, emotions that you did not deal with, that you suppressed. That's why body scanning is such a beautiful, important exercise in somatic healing. But we're not going to talk about that now. But I encourage you to check it out and try it out. But yes, to stop, to be present. And then I'd like to invite you to, once you get the hang of being more present, to not get completely distracted by your thoughts. When you start to feel the stillness, and when you start to realize that you are not all these comings and goings, you're not your thoughts and all these other things. You are the consciousness behind that observe all the comings and goings. Once you start to get a flavor for that, explore that. Turn your attention back towards yourself and start to get a taste for your divine inner nature. Be like a scientist from another universe, open like a child, and look at what is it like? How does it feel? What qualities does it have? And there, inside of you, you will find everything that you've been looking out there for is already your essence. Thank you for watching. May all beings everywhere be happy, peaceful, and free.